Hey, today what I want to talk to you about is why it is so hard to make changes stick. I have been the psychologist on an online, very popular online health and fitness program for a number of years now, and this is the question that comes up all of the time. Why do I keep falling back into old bad habits? Why do I keep sabotaging my progress? Why can't I just get out of my own way? And I know we've talked about this a little bit in the past, but I really want to tell you today kind of about the brain science that is working against you when you try to make lasting changes. I'm Cass Dunn. I'm a clinical and coaching psychologist, mindfulness meditation teacher. I am host of the Crappy to Happy podcast and author of the Crappy to Happy books. And I am here to help you overcome the blocks that are getting in the way of you living your happiest and most fulfilling and meaningful life. I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when I post a new video, which is normally every single Tuesday. So let's talk about how you make changes stick. And it is February now, and it may well be the case that you set some New Year's resolutions, that you set goals for yourself, and of course, before you know it, everything's fallen by the wayside. You've fallen into your old bad habits, and you tell yourself, well, what's the point? And then what happens is you give up, you get into all of that negative self-critical talk, which only serves to keep you stuck for longer. What you need to understand is that your brain is always working to keep you safe. Now, what your brain thinks is safe is doing everything the same old way you've always done it. So this means whatever habits you've got, whether they're good habits or they're bad habits, it doesn't distinguish. It just knows that this is what we do, this is how we do it, and if you try to go off course, it is going to be working double time to get you back into the old routine. So as soon as you say, I'd like to do something different now, and you try to go off course and do something different, that feels more difficult because you're already working against those ingrained neural pathways. You're already trying to establish a new behavior that's going to feel awkward. If you want to test this out for yourself, try crossing your arms, and now cross your arms in the other direction, and feel how uncomfortable that feels. It feels really uncomfortable. Is this because this is the way you've crossed your arms for your whole life, and as soon as you try to go against the grain and do something different, your brain does not compute. It just wants to go back and do the old thing. What is happening is the part of your brain that's responsible for thinking and making decisions, to deciding that you want to make a change, it's up here. That's this highly evolved, prefrontal cortex in your brain. Part of your brain that's working to keep you safe and keep you stuck in that habit, that's a much older and more primitive part of your brain. It's way down in here, and it is the part of your brain that will win every time. It's the oldest, it's the longest surviving, it has been there, it's responsible for the survival of our species. That's how important it thinks your habit is. We have to maintain it in order to survive. So first of all, it's just important to know that there's nothing wrong with you. And that's a big part of making a positive change. It's recognizing that you're not a failure. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not a lack of willpower. It's the fact that your biology, your neurobiology, is actually working against you. It's not to say that you can't make changes. It's that maybe we need to manage our expectations a little bit about what is possible, to allow a longer lead time to make a change, so that we can introduce smaller changes and allow your brain time to adapt, time to adjust to something new. Because what do we normally do? We decide we want to overhaul our whole life. I'm going to get fit, join the gym, change the way I eat. I'm going to save money, get out of debt. This long list we have of all of these changes that we want to make. And it overloads us, it overwhelms us, and it's really unrealistic to be able to make that much change in a short period of time. What happens is every time you try to do something different, you set off a little alarm in this primitive part of your brain, and it says, hold on a second, danger, what are you doing? And it starts working to pull you back into line, back into your old habits. But when you make micro changes, little micro commitments, tiny little changes to your routine, they kind of go under the radar. So this alarm system in your brain kind of doesn't get alerted if you only make little changes. For example, instead of deciding that you're going to go to the gym and work out 5 days a week, you might just decide to start going for a walk a couple of mornings a week. And that walk might be just getting off the train at one stop earlier and walking the rest of the way. It might be taking a walking meeting or walking with a friend instead of sitting down and having a coffee. Just these little changes in your routine to start to build in a different behavior. It might be that instead of overhauling your whole diet, you just start swapping out one food at a time. Instead of never eating chocolate again, that you start to slowly cut back and allow yourself just small portions of something that you see as a treat and that you're normally used to having. On that topic about cutting out foods and drinks and behaviors that you normally enjoy, what happens when we deprive ourselves is that we have a bounce back effect. Basically, when you deprive yourself, you deny yourself, your brain goes into, oh, I'm missing out on that thing that I really like. The next time that you cave into that craving and you have that thing, the dopamine hit, that reward hit, is so strong because you had been missing that thing and then you reintroduced it. The burst of dopamine, which is the chemical in your brain that's about learning and motivation and feeling good, what feels good, we want to do more of that. You have this increased burst of dopamine because you have deprived yourself, and so you're looking forward to that thing so much more, which actually then only serves to make you want that thing even more. You're far better off to just make small changes and to just ration some of those treats instead of completely telling yourself that you're not going to have that thing at all. Now, the other thing is that your brain obviously has a very, very strong inbuilt negativity bias. It's always looking for the problem. It's always looking for what's wrong. That's how we've survived. It's looking for fault. And so as soon as you do fall into your old patterns, as soon as you do slip up when you're trying to create a new habit, it's going to tell you all of the ways that you're weak and you're a failure and you're pathetic. And, you know, we're all familiar with this, right? And I've got previous videos about overcoming that negative self-talk. You should go and have a look at some of those. What we've got to do is we've got to really work to counteract that negativity bias by focusing really strongly on all of the things that you're doing well. It's about really upping the self-love, the self-compassion, reminding yourself that this is hard, that you're doing a good thing, and acknowledging those little wins. It doesn't matter how small a win it is. By acknowledging it and rewarding it and reinforcing it, what you're doing is you're giving yourself a little hit of dopamine in your brain. It feels good, and therefore you're more likely to reinforce that behavior. So it's really up to us. It's up to us to be able to counter that negativity bias. And just remember also that it takes, on average, 66 days to make a new habit. So if you're telling yourself 21 days, 28 days, and you're feeling like if you haven't got it sorted by now that there's something wrong, give yourself some time. Manage your expectations. It depends on the person and it depends on the habit, but on average, you're looking at least a couple of months of consistent action towards this new behavior before you can really expect for it to start to become easier. And what most people are doing is that they're going, maybe a week, a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks even, and then having a setback, giving up, and then having to start all over again. And now those few weeks, they're always the hardest when you're working to change something. And so what you end up doing is you do the really hard part over and over and over again. You're going to have setbacks. You are going to fall off the wagon. Let's just accept that that's part of the process. When you have that setback, be kind to yourself. Remember, it's not personal, it's not about you, it's about how your brain is wired. Get back on track, remember why you started this thing in the first place. You have to have a really powerful motivation. You have to understand that even if you don't feel any different on the outside, there is a change happening inside your brain. Those new neural pathways are being formed. It's getting easier and easier. So don't keep going back to the beginning and starting again. Keep pushing through. Give yourself a couple of months, and before you know it, that new behavior, that felt so difficult and so foreign to you, will be just a part of your new routine. So remember, start small. Micro actions, micro commitments are more likely to go under the radar and not trigger your brain's little alarm system. Acknowledge all of the really good things, the progress that you're making. Counter your brain's negativity bias by focusing on the positive and giving yourself a reward. Try not to fall into the full denial and deprivation effect, because more than likely that will lead to a bounce back. You often end up craving that food or that drink or whatever it is even more the more you deny yourself. And remember, it's likely to take at least a couple of months. So don't expect overnight changes, but do start small, keep going, and before you know it, you will succeed. If this video has been useful to you, please comment down below, let me know. What is the behavior change that you're struggling with? What can I help you with? What would you like to see more videos on? I'll see you same time, same place next week.